Hello again. So I am making this video to address some questions. So there was a question yesterday on Reddit. You know, I've been keeping the precepts and whatnot, but listening all the instructions, I'm not getting anywhere. You know, so what should I be doing really? What's the point of all this? And another question was about my personal background, personal stories, and whatnot. And I don't like telling stories for the sake of telling, stories. There are, various reasons I find them. When other people do it, I find them boring and points. I don't like listening to, people's personal adventures or something. Second of all, I don't have many adventures or entertaining stories to tell. And third of all, I like to stay kind of anonymous. I don't like to reveal my, identity and address and whatever. So, but when it is relevant, I tell these, anecdotes. There are various in my other videos too. So I think these two topics can be addressed in one video. So the point I want to make about the question about the practice is that in order to make use of the Dhamma and make any kind of progress, you should be an intellectually curious and not lazy. Okay. So I think I observe this attitude in many people. Okay, they stumble to the Dhamma, or they are born in a Buddhist country, and they just expect teacher and instruction and the practice, and keeping precepts, doing this meditation, doing the work for them, and they are going to be enlightened without really making an effort to understand the point of any of it. And that doesn't happen. That never happened, and that will not never happen. Okay. In the suttas, the Buddha, maybe hundreds of times, this emphasizes you need to make an effort to understand the teachings. So, are you doing that? Um, so that's the attitude. That's like the wrong attitude. Okay, and you could be wasting your time. It's not really a good thing to do. So, if you're just intellectually lazy and you're just completely like empty, your mind is always you're always drawing a blank. You're not making any connections. You don't have any thoughts. I mean, maybe do something else. I don't know. I mean, don't really waste your time if you're not really curious about the underlying principles. Figuring out them. And so, and what's different about me? So I have always been a curious person intellectually. I always want to like figure out like the deeper meanings of things, like the world, the life, what's the point of all this and whatnot. I wanted to see like different points of view always. I read like a lot of different philosophers, even like obscure one. I just found the their writings and translate them through Google Translate, and even people people's works who are not even in English. I tried to learn about what is this guy thinking. This guy has a different theory. So what was he thinking? I'm just really curious about these things. And that's how I really found about Buddhism, even though I live in a country where there's a zero amount of Buddhism presence. So let's go back. There's an event, I think, that started my questioning, self-questioning, let's say. Like I've always been intellectually curious, but that is like an intellectual exercise. Oh, what this philosopher taught. Oh, how did others respond to that? So this can be like an entertaining thing. You can just entertain in your mind these philosophies. Okay, I started with that, but taking that personally is a different kind of attitude. So I used to smoke during my years in university, and I used to consume, adult movies, and so I was staying in a dormitory, and my dormitory friend confessed something to me out of nowhere. We weren't even that close or anything. He revealed to me that he was, or he is, a drug addict. He hasn't used it for a long time. I don't know, a year or two. He hasn't used it. He was addicted to it. Or not physical, maybe. But what he said was, now his only reason to live now is to experience that drug again. Okay. Now, even though he is not using it, his values are shifted to the point that he doesn't value anything, even money, power, woman, nothing, except for re-experiencing that, experience, that drug. So I was like, shocked at this statement. I never thought addiction like this. So I've seen some movies, people quitting drugs, and they are so relieved that they quit. But this guy, I mean, he just shocked me with that statement. I mean, his values will never change, even though maybe he won't use that drug, never use that drug, but his only valuable thing in the world for him would be the drug. So what do you say about that? So that's like a kind of experience where the Buddha meets a dead person and a sick person, and he's just shocked, he just has to question. So that was, that happened to me in that encounter. So I got paranoid about addictions starting at that point. I tried obsessively quit smoking after this encounter, and my other addictions too. I tried, failed. At some point I succeeded, but that trial and failure teaches you a lot. And the question of the nature of addiction, even when people quit their addiction, they might not question so about your values, how you see the world. That's during that trial and failure and success, that can be that can teach you a lot if you're into questioning your own actions and attitudes. So I think it started to me, this reflective, developing this reflective attitude started at that point, And again, I tried quitting my other addiction about sexual relief and watching adult content. I thought everyone does it, it's normal, but it just was draining. My mind was just obsessed with that. The thoughts of invading those kind of images and thoughts and constantly craving this or that. That just I thought at one point, this can't go on. I need to stop this, put a stop to this. And started, researching about this addiction. This must be an addiction. And I found about, people trying to quit, and people has quit. And I tried and failed, again, like it's similar to quitting smoking. But it teaches you a lot. So, and at that point, I started learning about Buddhism. Now, there was another point, another addiction, my addiction to food. I was extremely fat, and I was looking into fasting and eating one meal a day. And during all this time, I stumbled upon the Buddhism. Oh, look at that! What the Buddha is teaching is just in line with what I was, trying to do in the first place. All these precepts. The Buddha encourages you to self. I am trying to be self. The encourages you to eat 1 meal. I am eating 1 meal a day. The Buddha encourages you to stay away from constantly busying, your mind with entertainment and other pointless stuff. Yeah, I am trying to do that. So it was already in line with my values somewhat. So I went deeper in that. And when people say, "Oh, what is the point of this precept? I am keeping this precept, but I don't see any point of it." Just getting frustrated and getting even stingy about having to keep them. So I have never been there, so I can't really tell you. But you need to see the point of it. You can't really blindly. You can blindly technically keep the precepts, but that doesn't mean blindly keeping them will get you somewhere. Okay, you shouldn't smoke, but not smoking will not necessarily reveal the nature of addiction, nature of sensuality and whatnot. So you need to be questioning this. And you need to be not intellectually lazy. You need to be curious. Like, why did the Buddha say these things? What did it mean? Why did he answer this question this way? Like I used to obsessively think about. So someone asks a question to the Buddha. So he says, "What is a being?" So if someone asks you what's a being, what would you answer? For example, you want to answer, "Oh, so a being has a body and perceptions, and 5 senses." You might start describe a being. So what does the Buddha say? The Buddha says, when there is craving, there is a being. So a little more elaborate, but that's the emphasis. That's not, is that even an answer to the question? Maybe. But the Buddha isn't there, telling you the definitions for the sake of telling you the definitions. The Buddha isn't like a geography teacher telling you about these mountains or rivers for the sake of, mundane knowledge or something. He doesn't tell you a definition of a being so you could memorize that, oh, I know what a being is. Okay, the Buddha told me. No, he wants you to understand and see it for yourself. Okay, you have to question and reflect on it and see it, the relation, see that dependency, see your own being, and the dependency on that, on craving. If you're not doing that, just taking it as information, the Buddha said this, I shouldn't memorize that. That doesn't help you then. The Buddha said this thing, that thing, other thing. Well, what is the underlying principle behind all? What is the insight that connects them all? So you need to be questioning the context and deeper meanings always, like obsessive question. You can't expect the instruction and the precepts that do the work for you without you making an internal effort. Okay. The meanings will not reveal to you automatically, and understanding will not happen to you automatically. You have to make the effort to understand. That's what I want to say.